The only reason why you can't get to your desired destination is because you're not willing to surrender to the process that is required for you to get to where it is that you truly desire. And it's not your fault, mind you. It's just your mindset. It's the fact that you've been in a battle for so long between who you are and who you want to be that you've created such a high level of resistance that even when you try and even when you're in the right position to move forward, you still create unnecessary resistance in your life. And this is what causes the struggle for you. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Usual. I'm excited about this episode because I feel like this is going to be a great caveat to the last episode. We talked about algorithms and things of that nature. So, if you want to go check it out before you watch this one, please do so.
And also, I just want to say too, because that last episode was really powerful, not just because of the concepts we talked about, but we gave like a couple tools that you can use to literally solve any problem that you have. So that episode is definitely worth going back to because it's something that you can use today to shift what's happening for you. So
Today, we're going to be talking about, I'm going to give it to you like this. The universe meets you at the depth of your surrender, not at the height of your struggle. Now, you probably don't even know what this means. So, we're going to break it down for you real quick. The depth,
why is this important for them to hear? Why do they want to continue listening? Let's tell them that first.
yeah, this is why it's important for you to listen and hear this because when you're going along your journey, right? When you're going along your spiritual journey, your awakening, or your self development journey, you want to improve yourself, but you have a lot of resistance around that improvement. And it's only based on the fact that you've never really truly had control of your life up until this point. You want more control, you want more like prosperity, you want more happiness in your life and things of that nature, but you don't know how to obtain them because every time you try, it feels impossible, it feels hard, it feels like it's not meant for you, it's only meant for a certain caliber of people. But I'm here to remind you that that's not true. The only reason why you can't get to your desired destination is because you're not willing to surrender to the process that is required for you to get to where it is that you truly desire. And it's not your fault, mind you. It's just your mindset. It's the fact that you've been in a battle for so long between who you are and who you want to be that you've created such a high level of resistance that even when you try and even when you're in the right position to move forward, you still create unnecessary resistance in your life. And this is what causes the struggle for you. So, we're going to help you to release just a little bit so that way you can finally surrender to the process that is required for you to move forward. Now, mind you, you're not going to get the whole surrender all at once. This is a step by step process that takes time to develop because, like us, we've reached a point where we can step into it and it's no problem. But you probably haven't reached that stage yet, but you are there. The fact that you're watching this just goes to show that you're ready for the surrender. You're ready for the positive outcomes. You're ready for life to start flowing for you instead of working against you.
So let's give it to us again.
The universe meets you at the depth of your surrender, not at the height of your struggle. Now, a lot of people think of this as like you need to just give up or be passive and just let life happen or just stop trying altogether. But the thing about surrender is that it's not a physical act, right? It's not just saying, oh, just stop doing everything and just let life happen to you, because that in itself is a level of resistance too. Surrendering basically equates to having clarity without being so emotionally charged, because most of the times you're struggling because you have so much emotional attachment to a certain outcome. And when you don't get to that outcome, you're mad, you're upset, you're frustrated. And so now you do more than what is necessary because you think that's what's required for you to get to where it is that you want to, but that's not the case. So, what you want to start doing right now in this part of your journey is create more clarity on how to get to where it is that you want to get to. And I want to ask you this too, right? I want to get your input on this. How does somebody start the process of creating that clarity so that way they can stop struggling and start releasing and surrendering to the process that's going to help them to further progress in their life, in their journey?
So I honestly feel like the surrender is what leads to the clarity. Like, surrender in itself is to remove resistance, right? To stop resisting. And when you think of that, a lot of times, why do we resist things? And this really ties in. So I think if you haven't listened to this past episode, like, go listen to that, because literally, chef's kiss. But the thing is, we resist because we tie a meaning to a circumstance, a thing that happens, and we create this negative charge on it because it's not something that we're controlling. It's something that we are like, this happened, like, wait a minute, I didn't plan for this. This is like, this was not something that I feel prepared for. And I'm associating some type of meaning saying, like, this is negative, this is bad, this unexpected thing. I need to resist this because this is not part of the plan. It's essentially what our brain is thinking, whether consciously or unconsciously. So I think in the surrender, it's about removing that resistance, which is like allowing ourselves to see that it's not something that's happening to us. And I think this is the mindset shift. It's not that something's happening to us, it's that something is happening for us. And if you can have the mindset that something is happening for you, you will surrender because you're no longer resisting what is, just what the circumstance is. You're allowing yourself to be in flow. And this is what we talk about. This is what we live by, right? Is like, we get value from everything. So I think surrender comes when you know that you're going to get value from any circumstance, any situation, any scenario, any person that comes into your life, you're going to get value from. Any program that you join, any coach that you pay for, you are going to get your value, right? And I think if you have that mindset, it will allow you to naturally surrender and remove that resistance to something because you're no longer thinking, this ain't part of the plan, this is not good. You're thinking, okay, it's here for a reason. What can I get out of this, right? Like, and that's kind of the mindset that I say we need to be in, because I tell my clients all the time, we need to be selfish. What can I get out of this? Everything is a transaction, whether it's energetic, financial, right? Like, go to the gym, it's a transaction. I'm putting effort and sweat and hell, sometimes blood, sweat, and tears, right? To get an outcome. Everything is a transaction. So we need to be selfish. What can I get out of this? And not selfish in the way of like, everybody we looking at, what can I get from you, right? But like, if I feel that no matter what is happening out here, no matter what a person says to me that I don't resonate with, no matter what situation happens, like, it don't matter because I'm gonna get value from it all.
Mm. Nah, facts. That honestly, that's next level, because when you reach those type of areas in your life, you start to realize these things. It's like an unspoken rule almost. It's like an unspoken type of transaction that happens in your life, and you start to receive more as you continue to release. I kind of wrote this down too as you were speaking because this just came to mind. It's observation without desperation. And I think that's the thing that trips a lot of people up, is that they're so focused on the goal that they want, and they desperately want to reach it so bad, But the thing is, how the world is responding to you, it's not responding to you wanting the goal, it's responding to the desperation that you have due to the lack thereof. So it's going to, the universe is going to deliver more of the desperation of you not having it. And this is what's going to cause the struggle, because now you've made this goal so big and so almost unattainable due to your desperation, that you go through this unnecessary struggle, like I mentioned earlier, to get to where it is that you truly desire. But once you start to release and you start to observe it and say, you know what, that's my goal, but I don't need it right now. That makes the goal attractive. That makes the goal come to you, and it makes it more obtainable, because now when you surrender, you're now allowing yourself to enter into a flow state. So now the things that you need to do or that are required for you to get to that goal, they start to show up, because now they've always been there, but the only thing that has changed is your observation. So you can't be desperate in your observation, because you start to miss things. Because the goals, the things that are required for you to get to your goals are so nuanced. They're so tiny. And that's why you miss the mark, because you're letting the things that are most important to get you where you want to go unnoticed or unserved. So sometimes it takes you letting go of the idea of what this goal is and what it can do for your life in order for it to really come to you and create the transformation that you truly desire.
Yeah, that's so good. You know, and that's like, that makes me think too, like even just like tying that back into the clarity piece, like when you talk about these goals, because a lot of us have, we have goals, but I don't think we be having true goals. Like it'd be like, I want to be married, but like, what does that look like? You know what I mean? Like, I want a great job. Like, what does that look like? You know, like I don't think we're specific with our goals a lot of times. Sometimes we can be, right? But I think a lot of times it just be like this, like, great thing, like, yeah, I want the thing, you know? And it makes me think, like, what leads to the clarity that you kind of talked about earlier, too, is the thing that we're going through that we may be resisting. That's what's going to lead to the clarity. Because when I think back to, like, my marriage, for instance, you know, I was married for a little over 4 years. And, you know, I remember I used to say for so many years, I used to be like, oh, my first marriage didn't count. It was a practice run. So obviously you knew what kind of mindset I was on. A lot of people, with how it ended, and just, you know, a lot of people would have this mindset of like, this was wasted time. You know, I'm not married. Like, you get married because you think it's the one you want forever, right? And going through that experience, it helped me to see, like, afterwards, do you know what the value that I got from that marriage? I mean, not all of it was bad, obviously, but I was able to extract value from, you know what clarity I got? It's not always about, oh, the thing, right? Marriage. So I'm no longer married anymore. So therefore, it's negative. It's bad. It's not like valuable. If I was focused on marriage being the thing, the goal, I wouldn't have extracted the value, right? Because I'm like, I'm not married anymore. So then what am I doing? This is not like, it's not right, right? Resisting what is. But I was able to extract value from it because it helped me to get clear on what I do want in a marriage. It helped me to see, you know what? I may not be fully like, you don't go into marriage like knowing what marriage is, right? Like, we have some idea. And you know, like, you're happily married, right? Like, even if you had a great example growing up, we still don't know what that shit is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many things marriage brings about that's different than just dating. That's different than, you know, like, there's so many nuances to marriage. Integrating your lives, like having a sense of identity by yourself as well as a couple. And don't even bring children in the mix, right? There's so many pieces to it. But if I didn't go through my experience, I wouldn't have been able to extract the value without the mindset of not being focused on marriage being the goal and more so the value that I can like extract from the experience. If I was resisting it, I wouldn't have gotten that value. But now I know I'm so much clearer on what I want in a partner, how I want to show up. It's always about being able to get clearer and extract value in a way that helps us to get clearer on the thing. Sometimes we be so focused on a thing and can miss it. Think about other examples in your life that if you can, rather than focusing on the thing, focus on what you can get from it, what the clarity is that you got from the circumstance or the event itself. And that alone is going to shift everything for you, because if you can shift your mindset on it, then you can shift like, okay, well, what did I get from it? Yeah, I may not be happily married today, right? I damn sure know, like, I wouldn't be to where I am now, like, where I have so much clarity and understanding on what I want, how I want to show up, who I want to be in a relationship, if I didn't go through that.
Mhm. Well, so that, guess technically you weren't wrong because that technically was a practice run because you wouldn't have known what you've known now.
I mean, yeah, it was a practice run, but it's not that it didn't count. Like, it still was a marriage.
It
Yeah,
counted. It counted.
yeah. It was one of them, like, petty, like, petty undertones to it. But yeah, absolutely. It was still right. But yeah, I think in the surrender, like, surrendering to what lessons, what value you can get, that's how you get the clarity.
Nah, facts. You know what's funny? I was thinking about this. The thing that I love and hate about social media, I love the fact that you can create content. I hate the fact that it doesn't give context. And that's where I feel like a lot of people get misconstrued with their own personal lives is that they have the content, they have the concept, they have the idea, but they don't have the plan, they don't have the context, they don't have the understanding of how and what it takes. And I wrote down something because I felt like this tied well in to what you was talking about. Some people will make the goal of I want to be rich, but really what they're saying is I want to be better with my finances. But kind of tying it back into the algorithm, when you're saying you want to be rich, you're basically stating to the algorithm that I'm broke and I don't have money because your focus isn't on the riches. Your focus is on the fact that you ain't got no money. So,
Right.
goal for you isn't to get rich. The goal is to be better with your finances, to be more financially savvy. Because let's be honest, to me, being rich is if you've paid all your bills and you got an extra $100 in your pocket. To me, that's rich because you got all of your essentials taken care of and you got a little extra money in your pocket to do with whatever you want. That's rich because you are responsible. And that's the thing about your life. You have to be responsible with your life because if you just get content without context, you're going to be running around thinking like, oh, this is it, this is it. And then you get burned out or you get burned. And now you're scarred. And now you have to do unnecessary things and struggle to put yourself back at square one when you was already
Yeah.
there to begin with, but you were so blinded by the content. But this is
Yeah.
why context is so important.
Absolutely. And I think that's like literally how people live their lives. And this is why conversations like this, I think, are so important because it helps people to think deeper than we're conditioned to right now, right? We are conditioned to see 6 to 30 second, 60-second clips, right? Like most people aren't, people's attention spans is like rats nowadays. Like it's literally, and I mean, I fall victim to it too at times, right? Like it'd be like, and then I'll go back because I'm like, damn, wait a minute, like that might have been interesting for me to like spend my time listening to, right? But a lot of times we don't get that, and I think it's so important to, like you said, to dive deeper into the context because like tying back again to like the last episode where you were talking about the signals, the frequency that we're sending out. You could be thinking I want to be rich, but that's not what the universe is hearing. The real thought or belief is that what's my reality right now is not it. I don't want it. I'm broke. I'm not where I want to be. And it's so important to be able to catch those thoughts and those beliefs, to be able to do, like, journal prompts like we gave, the self-coaching model that we talked about on this last episode, so that you can like break those. Because if you stay in those things, that's how we stay in autopilot, and that's how we keep getting the same results. The universe will still send you people that, because you're saying, I want to be rich, I want to be rich. You're not focused on the present. You're focused on, okay, I want more money, which means I don't have enough money right now. And what the universe receives is, okay, you don't got enough right now. You're not happy with where you are now. Let me send you more people that ain't happy with where they at right now. Let me send you people that's focused on like talking about how expensive gas is, and how the price of groceries is up. Not, oh, how do we make more money? How do we make more wealth? How do we create more abundance in our life? What needs to be happening is, again, using the self-coaching model and the tools that we put in the last episode, so that you can like catch those patterns and be able to shift to an intentional thought. Because what's happening is, you're sitting up here so focused on, I want to be rich. But what needs to be happening is, you need to create a thought that helps you to create the feeling of safety now. If you're focused on wanting to be rich and wanting to have 6 figures in your bank account, to have that job, to have the relationship, how can I feel abundant and rich now in my reality? So this means circumstance ain't got to change, right? The circumstance is what it is. I got negative $20 in my account, right? Like whatever it is for you, right? I got $50. That's the circumstance. But how can I create safety in that? I got $50, but I paid my rent. My car note is paid. Like, I was able to do that. I was able to take care. Yeah, I may not have, the extra and be able to, go out with, my friends this weekend. But I know that I don't have to stress about this being paid, because I took care of that. I feel safe. Or maybe the thought is, okay, how can I create safety? So maybe it's like me redoing my like budget, if you will, and like removing some unnecessary stuff. Maybe Netflix and Hulu ain't important. Maybe I just pick one. Take off one of them subscriptions. Take off some other things. Maybe look at some stuff that maybe has been on autopilot, right? Just auto charging, things like that, so I can create safety now. Because it's not about making more money. Even if you made more money, if you still have the same mindset beliefs about money that you have now, the same patterns, you're going to end up in the same predicament with just more money. Like, you're still going to repeat the same thing. And people that are rich have a different mindset.
Definitely.
Right? So, like, they mindset be so different than, like, how it is when you feel like you don't have enough. So, again, it's about shifting our thinking and our mindset now, so that we cannot be in resistance, so that you can surrender. And being in that surrender, in that flow state, not resisting what is, being able to it leads us to more clarity.
Side note too, rich people don't even think about money. They think about time. That's a whole nother topic within itself, but just, just something for people to chew on real quick.
Yeah. Time and value. Like, that's it. It's not about the cost. It's about the value.
Exactly.
And time is more valuable than money.
Time is way more valuable than money. Listen, I would trade all my money for time. Listen, because I could do a lot with time. But that only happens when you have the right mindset. Because somebody probably just watched this, just like, shit, I need that money. I need to get that bag. Like, hey, I get you. I understand. But your mind is what creates the bag. But it doesn't happen until you create the surrender. Like, all of this is just helping you to create more resistant patterns, or not resistant, surrender patterns in your life, because this takes time to build, right? Building a level of surrender takes time to build. It's not just an overnight thing. But with the things that we're talking about implementing today, you can start creating those surrender patterns, because it's like, you take it little by little. You surrender a little bit, and then you kind of get back into the struggle. And then you surrender a little bit, and then you're right back into the struggle, until you get to a point where now you are in full surrender. And then you struggle sometimes, but then you're just always in this state of just surrendering to the process. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think that's dope. And I think one tip I guess that I would give, because I think this is something that's so it's such a major way in how people live their lives and how they show up and how they think and feel and act that I would recommend for you to just notice, be an awareness from this point on thoughts that you have that are just resistant thoughts. Because there's, you could even think, I mean, like this gets so nuanced, but like even just thinking to like seeing like a nice car. When I be seeing, you see fancy cars, a lot of times, I know because I used to have them, I would think negatively about like the type of person. Oh, they probably did some wild stuff to get that, or they don't be putting a lot of value into the world. They're probably obnoxious. That's a resistant thought rather than thinking, ooh, this person probably earned this through like, they worked hard for this. They put value out into the world to get that return. That's like a resistant, that's the opposite of having a resistant thought. It shows up in a lot of ways. We at the grocery store and people be like, oh, the person got 25 coupons. Like, you ever had that where you standing in line and you like, really? I remember I used to be behind people before I had WIC and stuff, like people that had the WIC back when they had the checks and stuff. Now they got the card, but they used to have the checks and you would have to, it would just take, and people would be like, have 3 and 4 checks. And I would have resistant thoughts of like, this person's wasting my time. We have resistant thoughts a lot of times, like most of the day. So just start to notice when you're in resistance to what is. And usually how you can catch that is by you're not seeing even the value in it. You know what? Like me taking a few moments, I was just in a rush, but like maybe not immediately going out to my car and driving off is preventing me from an accident. Or maybe this is just giving me a couple of minutes to actually think about the conversation I need to have with, my partner when I get home. Or, like what value can I get? What, why do I want to embrace this and lean into the reality rather than resist? And if you start to do that, you will start to you'll start to notice it more. Then you'll start to shift. What can I think of instead of? What would be more of a surrender thought than a resistance thought? And that, I mean, you off to the races. Because I'm telling you, it shows up every day.
Every day. Every single day. And you know what? I'm going to give you one too as well. This is something that I've used in my own life. I've used it in a different way, but it works all the same. It's called the surrender test. And what this basically does is when something isn't working in your life or you're just met with a high level of resistance, you ask yourself these 3 questions and you filter all of your activity through these 3 questions. The first one, what outcome am I trying to force? What would action look like without resistance? And what feeling would I rather not sit with? And these questions have helped me along my journey because anytime I'm met with a certain level of resistance, I sit down and I ask myself these questions, and then it allows me to navigate and move forward more effectively and more efficiently with everything that I'm doing in my life. And this is what helps me to create that surrender for me. Because now I've reached a new level. Because honestly, what I do is not only with that, but I use the resistance as I've entered a new level. So now I filter what I'm going through these 3 questions. And now I create another level of surrender. So now I'm like, okay, now I'm on to the next level. So I'm in this state of surrender for a period until I hit another wall of resistance. And then I filter this resistance through these questions. And then boom, I'm on to another level of surrender. So it's an ongoing process. But this right here is going to help you to get started.
Yeah. They be saying new levels, new devils, new levels, new surrenders. So I'm looking forward to hearing what resonated for you on this episode, what your takeaway was. And try this out. Either one of these exercises, anything that comes up for you that maybe you've noticed of the surrender or the resistance in your life, share it with us. We would love to engage. And remember
to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And grow. Remember this too. Growth doesn't happen.
Remember this too, y'all.
Growth doesn't happen in the usual places.
Goodness. And neither do we.
Damn right we don't. Thank you for watching and tuning into another episode of Beyond the Usual, where we don't just talk about it.
We go beyond it.
And until next time, peace and progress.
Peace, y'all.